When you are manifesting and trying to attract your desires, you're not just working with God energy, you're also working with your lower self, your primal self, which is your shadow. Shadow work. When we talk about shadow work, we're not just talking about, writing prompts and, thinking about, that's true too. However, because the shadow, your lower self, primal self, deals with the subconscious, we are reprogramming our subconscious to believe that we are worthy and deserving of our desires. Shadow self is the subconscious. So when it comes to manifesting or doing spell work and all of that other stuff, you are also working with your shadow self, because your desires come from the physical and material plane. You're desiring something is of the human experience. We desire the material possessions that we want, right? We desire the love from other people. We desire all these things. Those desires stem from your lower self. So in manifestation, we are working with not just our higher self, but we're working with our lower self. So lower self, shadow self. This is shadow work. This is a part of shadow work. Now, yes, because we're in this physical body, we're going to experience, the human experience comes with the trauma. However, we work through that trauma by acknowledging it, but transforming something that seems ugly into beautiful things. So you have the lower self, you have your higher self. Higher, this is God, universe. But then you have this middle ground where these two work together in unison. This is where balance, we talk about balance a lot of the time when it comes to spiritual journey. You balance out your lower and your lower and your higher self. You balance these two parts of you, or two aspects of you, so that you're not in psychosis, or you're not, not grounded. So it's important to be grounded while you're also manifesting your desires. Having a regulated nervous system, your higher self and lower aspect of yourself is in unison, and therefore you attract. This is healthy. Now, because we are in this human experience, like I said, we're going to have those traumas from early years. However, we transform what we think is ugly into something beautiful. Now, lower self, higher self, you have this middle ground. This is enlightenment. Desires, right? Now, how does the two work together? These are your desires. So when we were talking about, balance and the chakra system, so the energy of your lower self is sending signals to God. When we're talking about the word of God in that other video, previous video, we also touched base on the fact that your lower self, your desires, it may have been the voice of God, I can't remember which one, but your desires what I got a brain fart. Fuck. Word of God. It was the word of God. Your word is the promises that man's word, man's promises is God's commandments. What the fuck is it about? Man's promises is God's commandments. Man is the lower self. It represents the lower self. The physical, material body, right? Your word, the things that we say we're going to do, your goals, admiration, desires, this is all a part of this. However, like I said, God is listening at all times. God is everywhere and in everything. So because God is listening, when you say, oh well, I want to be an actress. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when you put in the work, move your body. When you move your body to do and fulfill all your wishes, such as going into acting classes or taking vocal training or something that opens up that space so that God can command it to happen for you. Lower self action. Well, you're taking action. You're taking physical action. So you're moving your body. Okay, I'm going to go out, do this. I'm going to hit all. Okay. And then God sees, God hears, God is you. God isn't you. You are God. God commands for all your wishes to be fulfilled and granted to you. Because your faith without works is dead, right? God says, okay, she's going out to the acting stuff, and she's taking up nursing classes, nursing courses. All right, she's cool. All right. She said that she wanted to be a nurse and taking them classes. Okay, I'm gonna command it to happen. That's God. That's universe. It's a boomerang. Whatever you reap, whatever you sow, you reap. But we're working with our shadow self. Shadow isn't negative. It's not negative. Everything just is. You're working with your shadow self when you are manifesting and producing your baby, your creation. So we need our shadow self. This is why when people get into spirituality, they only talk about God and, leave the shadow alone, lower self, nah, focus on the higher. But it is important to know that your lower self is just as powerful as your higher self. For instance, I love saying for instance, it's my favorite thing. For instance, protection, right? Lower self is able to physically protect, right? God is also able to spiritually protect. That intuition, that inner knowing, that inner guidance, telling you, don't go to that party, don't go over there. They do the same thing. These two do the same thing, but they reflect their protection differently. They reflect things differently. Two different ways, but they're doing the same thing. So this is balancing, manifestation. Another point, Your lower self, your primal self deals with the subconscious. The things that we listen to, the things that we pay attention to, it plays back. And that's what God reflects in our inner, that in our inner world. It shows out into the experience of our outer world. Okay? Lower self is the subconscious. Higher self, frontal lobe. We talked about that. It was I think the frontal lobe, we're talking about the voice of God and how God is everywhere and everything. But yeah. So ultimately, when we are manifesting and doing the things of woo-woo and all that other stuff, we're working with both. Because where does your desire come from? Where do your desires come from? If you weren't in the physical, if you was not in the physical body, right? Just God. God doesn't have a desire. Universe doesn't have a desire. It just is. Man has desires. Man. Not God. Universe just is. Oh, okay. This dude, he shows interest in that. I'm gonna put more of that into his life. When you show interest to, the universe boomerangs that back, it whoops it into your existence. So your shadow, reprogramming your subconscious, is working with your shadow self. Because this is ultimately the subconscious mind. This is your conscious mind. Okay? And something else I was about to say. And yeah, this is about it. But you're working with both. You're working with both aspects of yourself. This isn't evil. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. This is it. This is just as beautiful as this is. Okay? So yes, ultimately, like I said, when you're manifesting, doing, okay, well, I can do better. You're working with both of these. You need both. Okay. But I'll see you in the next one.